And the first thing that we'll be doing is just a little stretch. We'll be on the ground, your butt back onto your heels, arms out stretched ahead of you. And so a little bit of a child's pose. Just kind of catch your breath here. Some nice deep breaths. Pressing your chest down and your butt back. All right, and then we'll take your right arm and reach it up to the ceiling and then twist through underneath your armpit. We'll do some of these thoracic twists. Nice and familiar, we do these. Feels good to stretch out that top spine. And we'll just do like 6-ish of these at your own pace, taking your time. Really opening up your chest and then getting that under the armpit twist. Maybe one more on this side. And we'll switch. So now that right hand stays stretched straight and the left one goes up. And then under your armpit for that twist. Maybe like 2 more. And again, just moving or stretching, whatever feels good. And then we're going to actually go ahead and roll over to your back. And you're going to take your right knee and pull it up to your chest. And then you're going to pull it across your body. I think you can see me. So this right leg is like pulling across. And so your hips are going to kind of open up a little bit. But you're trying to keep your shoulders flat on the ground. And you're just trying to pull this hip over and across so you'll get a stretch across the side of your leg on that right side. And you're trying to keep both shoulders down on the ground. And we're just kind of holding this stretch here. Trying to pull that knee to the ground as much as you can. And taking some nice deep breaths. All right, we'll go ahead and kick that leg straight back out, and we'll go ahead and bring your left knee, pulling it up to your chest, and then crossing it across your right leg. Ooh, man, this one doesn't want to go over as far. And yeah, just kind of finding where you get some tension and holding it there. Keeping your shoulder blades down and back. Finding some nice deep breaths. And really engaging your core, squeezing that belly button to your spine. You'll find that'll help engage that stretch too. All right, and then we'll go ahead and kick that leg straight back again, and we're gonna go back to your right leg, and we're just gonna pull it across, kind of get like a knee tap. It's okay if your shoulders come up, and then we'll switch. And so you're just gonna pull that knee up, and then across as far as you feel like going. Again, it's okay if your shoulders open up a little bit now that we're kind of moving through this, and just slow and steady, kind of alternating, and you know, again, we'll do like 6-ish per side, pulling that knee up, and then guiding it all the way across, and then switching to the other side. I'm going to do 1 more per side. So now we're gonna have your hands on the ground, and you're gonna push your hips high, heels onto the ground too. So we're kind of in a little bit of a down dog-ish again, and your chest is gonna be pushing towards the ground. Hips high. It's okay to softly bend your knees if you want to get your hips a little bit higher, or maybe push your heels down and straighten your knees if you want. Kind of feeling it out however you like. We're going to hang out here for just a couple breaths. And now we're going to take your right hand and tap your left heel, and then we'll bring it back, and then left hand to right heel and bring it back. And so we'll just do some of these alternating cross body taps. Oh my gosh, sweat from my armpit just dripped onto my head while I was doing that. It's kind of gross. All right, we're gonna do like a couple more per side. Maybe last set. And staying down here, that's kind of the end of our little stretchy part. So we're gonna start speeding up a little bit. And so the next will be in our side plank. And so you're gonna put your elbow down, and if you want, you can have this, if you're on your left side, your left knee can be down, right leg out straight, or if you want, you can pop back on both feet, wherever you're feeling for today. And while we're in this side plank, so again, whichever style you like, especially now that we're just getting more, still kind of warming up, we're gonna do a little thread the needle, so reaching that opposite arm up into the air and then twisting under your armpit. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and go, and we're just gonna do 8 of these. And once you've done 8 on that side, we'll go ahead and switch to the other side and do another 8. And again, that knee down, or you can have that knee up and you can be on your feet, whatever feels good to you right now. And then we'll go into some inchworms when you're ready. So just that plank, and then walking your hands back to your feet. And then standing all the way up, maybe getting a nice reach. We haven't stood up yet since maybe the beginning. But then taking it back down, walking your hands out into a plank, and then coming back with your hands. And again, standing all the way up. Maybe a stretch, whatever feels good. And we'll do 2 more inchworms. Nice work. Okay, and then the next movement we're gonna do is those little turtle herders, which is kind of like our walking deadlifts, but with no weight. So you take a little step, not a full lunge step, kind of like a half of a lunge step, and keeping your hips high, back flat. You're just gonna kind of sweep towards the ground, and then you'll take a step, half step the other way, back flat, hips back, and just kind of give those turtles a little scooch. And you can also do these staying in place by just alternating if you would like. And I'm gonna do 5 more per side. All right, and then we're gonna do one more round, starting back with the thread, the side plank, thread the needle, but this time we're gonna do 30 seconds of each. And so we'll come back down into a side plank and we'll do those thread the needle, and we'll do 30 seconds of them this time rather than 8. And then we'll do 30 seconds on the other side, and then we'll do 30 seconds of inchworms, and then 30 seconds of the little turtle herdies. And then we'll start playing with our weight a little bit. Okay, ready, set, go. Oh, yep, go. Sorry, my stopwatch made a surprising sound. Okay, we're gonna do these. Thread the needle. And again, if you want to keep that knee down, you can. I was like, okay, maybe I'm ready to pull my knee up now that I'm a little bit more warm. I'm gonna try it this round. 3, 2, 1, and we'll switch sides. More seconds. 3, 2, 1. And so now we'll go into those inchworms. So just from the plank up to standing. And maybe just a couple of these. We're already at 10 more seconds for the inchworms. They're a little bit slower. 3, 2, 1, and now we'll take that little step, hinge toward the ground. And again, walking or doing them in place is fine too. Trying to keep a soft bend in your knee, but your legs are mostly straight. 3, 2, 1. Okay, rest a little bit. Maybe grab a sip of your water if you like. Okay, and so we're actually going to kind of keep going down this train of the little turtle herder guys. And so something else I want to think about while we're doing those, like the hinging today, is like, we talk a lot about keeping your back flat, your hips high, shoulder blades down and back. And also, like, I want us to also think about continuing to engage our core too. So keeping your belly button tucked to your spine, because now that we're really focusing on this fat back, we might have the tendency to really overarch your spine. And so we really want it to just stay flat. So you also have to continue thinking about like pulling your rib cage down, belly button to spine. So, you know, there's always so much more to keep thinking about as we're going through these movements, but I just wanted us to think about that a little bit today. And so now we're gonna add your dumbbell or your weight, whatever it is, and you're gonna have both hands on it. And we're gonna go into those, so now it's like a little bit more of a walking dead, like we'd call it, rather than the little turtle herder. But you're gonna take the exact same staggered step. You're gonna keep the same foundation of your feet flat on the ground, slight bend in your knees, and then hinging forward. But again, you're gonna really try to keep your rib cage tucked down so that your back stays totally flat rather than extra arched. While at the same time, you're not rounding your shoulders and reaching for the ground. So you're really focusing on keeping your rib cage tucked down, belly button to spine, while at the same time, hips high, reaching back with your butt. And then we'll take another step and hinge forward. And so when you're ready, you can grab your weight, and we're gonna do 8 per side. So you get a lot of practice. You get 16 total reps to really work on staying in control. keeping tightness on your spine, like through your back and your front. And once you've done those reps, you can take a little break if you want. And then we're gonna do it again, but we're gonna add a bent row while you're at the bottom of your hinge. So you're really gonna have to think about keeping your back nice and flat. So shoulder blades down and back, hips high, but maintaining tightness through your midline by squeezing your belly button to your spine. So you'll take that little step, you'll hinge forward, and then while you're down here, you're gonna pull that dumbbell up to your rib cage. And so here's where you really don't want to be pulling like this, right? You want to make sure your midline is tight, belly button to spine, shoulder blades down and back, elbows back as you pull to your chest. Bring it back down and then standing up. And then taking the step, slight bend in your knees, hinging forward. My hamstrings are so tight, so my knees are probably bending a little bit more than maybe some of y'all, and that's totally fine too. Everyone's going to be in a little bit of a different spot. But in case you're wondering why my knees are a little bit bent, and yours might be too. But trying to keep them soft and straight, hinging forward, pulling to your chest, back down. And we'll do 16 of these also. So like 8 per side. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and go. And really try to keep your hips square as well, so that you're not leaning to one side. Keeping that midline tight. It starts to get hard. Yeah, nice work. And as you're doing that bent row, just another reminder that you want to try to avoid like pulling up to the side. You want to think more about hugging back. So really like squeezing with this muscle back here, elbow punches back. So you're down here in the bottom and then like pull those elbows back. Yeah, nice job. All right, and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of keep progressing with that part, the little Walking Dead bent row, and we're gonna mix in some one-arm swings in between. And so when we go back to the Walking Dead bent row, you can always kind of revert back to this one if you want. If we start going down this rabbit hole and you're like, okay, Charlie, that's enough, you can always like revert back and just kind of do some of those Walking Dead plus bent row, and those will be good too. But next, in between the Walking Dead plus bent row, we're gonna do 16 alternating kettlebell swings just to kind of like shake it out. And so you're gonna have, if you can, you're gonna have one hand on your item. If you can't, you can just do 2 hands, using your hips, keeping your arms straight, popping that weight out in front of you. But if you can hold one hand on it, we're gonna do an alternating one-arm swing. And so you'll, if you wanna hike your item, which I always like to do, it'll start on the ground out in front of you, your chest will be up, your back will be flat, squeezing your midline tight, and you'll pull that item, whatever it is, back behind you. And then as it starts coming back forward, you'll just stand up fast. And then as it goes down, you'll stand up fast. And that would be your one-arm swing. But then again, we'll kind of alternate arms. And so once it's up in the air, you're gonna switch hands. It kind of becomes weightless. And so if that's familiar to you, we're gonna do 16 of those alternating swings, 8 per side. Ready, go! Or 16 two-hand swings. We're not gonna spend too much time going over the swings today, so maybe pick an option that you're most familiar and comfortable with. Nice. And yeah, using your hips to stand up fast and pop that weight out in front of you. Yeah, everyone looks good. And depending on your item, it might be easier to swing it outside your legs because maybe it's too big to fit between your legs. If you're gonna swing to the outside of your legs though, take a narrower stance so that you're a little bit more grounded in your base because you might have to like lean side to side. And then you can take a little break, maybe grab a sip of water, and we're gonna come back to our Walking Dead plus bent row. And so again, if you want, you can always go back to the way that we were doing it the first round. But this time, we're gonna just take a staggered stance and we're gonna maintain this same side. And we're gonna have your weight in one hand. Again, if you can do one hand. And you're gonna do RDL, bent row, and then stand again. So that deadlift, bent row, and then stand. And then we'll do 4, and then we'll do 4 in the other hand as well. And so if you're like, which side? It's gonna be both, so it doesn't necessarily matter which one you do first, but we're gonna hinge, bent row, and then stand. And so it'll be like 8, and then we'll switch legs and do another 4 per side. And so it's like hinge, pull, stand in that staggered stance 4 times on this arm. And if you've got one of those two-handed items that really can't be held in one hand, you can totally try to do these. Just a little bit tough staying in this stance doing that plus the RDL, but you just gotta watch out for your knee, especially if you got a big cinder block. But you could probably do it. Just that deep hinge forward with both hands on it, and you could do 8 per side that way if you got a two-hand item and you wanna keep moving forward. And so either way, it should be like 8 total reps per leg. Just a staggered stance, hinge, bent row, and then stand back up. And then once you've done your 8 reps per side, we'll go back to those 16 alternating swings.
Patty, does the weight go in the hand where the leg is back or forward?
So we did both.
When?
We did with the leg forward here, and it was in my right hand. It was the like hinge, pull, stand, 4, and then I switched hands, but I left my legs here, and I did another 4 reps: hinge, pull, stand, and so that totaled 8 with this leg forward, and then I switched legs and did 4 per side.
I get it.
Okay, sweet, awesome. That's good. Good clarifying. This is confusing. And also, if you're starting to lose count, some is a really good number too. So you can just totally stick with some. And then again, 16 alternating one-arm swings or 16 swings. And really practicing getting weightlessness on your item by standing up fast, squeezing your glutes, keeping that belly button pinned to your spine. And then it's short break time, so get a sip of water, maybe a little stretch or something else, coffee, whatever you need. And then the next step for the progression on the hinge deadlift is probably only going to really be something that the people who have a one-hand item can do, but hopefully the two-hand item people are having fun with the previous movements. Because what we're going to do now is you're going to we'll start with the right leg forward, and so we're going to do 8 reps here with this leg, and then we'll do 8 reps on the other leg. And this time you're going to hinge, bent row, and then you're going to switch arms at the bottom. And so you're going to pass it to your left hand and then stand. And so now it's in the left side. And so we'll do a hinge, bent row, pass, and stand. Hinge, bent row, pass, and stand. And so you'll notice that now that we're switching in the bottom, you are really gonna have to like engage your core to make sure that your back isn't like super arched, or you're not letting your shoulder blades round down. So keep your shoulder blades down and back, keep your belly button pinned to your spine, even as you hinge, pull, and then pass. And then stand up. So you don't pull on both sides, you just pull on the first side, but it'll switch arms each time, so you'll still get the rep on each side. And we'll do 8, and then you'll switch feet. And it'll be the same thing. And so it doesn't necessarily matter which side the weight starts on, because again, you'll do that hinge, pull, and pass, and then now you'll get the hinge and pull on the other side. Hinge, pull, and then pass. And so you will have to really get a nice steep hinge around that front leg, so you're not smacking your knee. And again, we're going for 8 reps. And then once you've got all those done, we'll do another 16 swings. Your short break, and we have one more iteration of this before we get too bored of it. But again, like, take a little short break, sip of water. And as you're taking your break, I'll show you the next, and we're still gonna do 8 per leg, or I guess, yeah, I'll take a little bit of more break. More break time. Y'all are doing so good. I love how some of you have sunshine in your windows. We got some sunny backyards. Looks so nice. Hi, Julia. All right. Okay, so yeah, as you break, I'm just going to show you the next part. So no moving. You can take your break and get some water. And so we're still gonna do 8 per leg, and so we'll stay in the staggered stance, and we're still gonna pass the dumbbell back and forth with our hinge plus our bent row, but now you're gonna pass it under your leg to the other side, and then stand. So you'll hinge, you'll pull, and then you'll pass it under your leg, and then stand. And so again, this might be one that cinder block folks are, you could try. Oh, sorry. Bent row, and then pass it, and then stand. Hinge, bent row, pass, and then stand. So again, just more challenge for like the stability of your core. Trying to stay tight and engaged through there as you're even passing it under your leg. And we'll do 8 per side. And again, if your hamstrings are getting really tight, just add a little soft bend to those knees. And that should help. And again, once you've done 8 or like 4 per arm, then you'll switch to the other leg and do 8 on this side. Hinge, pull, pass it. And then the swings again. And then short break, and we'll do one more. We're gonna just do one more round. And so you can choose. No more adding any layers or anything. So you can just pick which version was your favorite of the RDL bent row staggered stance stuff. You could just pick which one was your favorite, and you can do another round of that, and then another 16 swings. But first you could take a little short break. We'll take the next like 3 minutes to finish up this part. So one more round, or just rest, whatever you would like. We'll take like 3 more minutes for this part. The folks across the street got new dogs. They have these 2 pug beagle mixes now. They're super cute. Okay, I'm gonna do my last set. That hinge, pull, pass under my leg, Eric. Then switch legs after 8 reps. Nice job. Okay, we'll take like 1 more minute to finish up and take a little break. And then we'll go into a last little short piece for today. Yes, nice work. Okay, so as you're resting, I'll go over the next bit. So the next thing we're gonna do is some Renegade Row. Okay, that really is just a plank row. So we're gonna just plank. So just the plank part, then you're gonna pull. And also you can even like open up your chest if you want, give it a big power pull, that's fine. Kind of like you're starting a lawnmower or something. Just a nice big pull and then switch. So we'll do like alternating arms. And you're gonna do 4 per side or 8 total. So you're doing just this big pull. I'm sorry, actually we're gonna do 8 per side. This is the one time we do 8 per side. So that's why I got a little bit confused, but 8 per side on those. And then we're gonna go into 8 up downs. And so these will turn into just 4 per side because we're gonna do the up down with the weight as well. And so you can kind of just like keep that weight in one hand, or if it's a wonky weight that you don't like having in your hand as you come down, you can kind of set it down, but you'll be in that plank and then you'll hop up and then grab your weight, or if it's still in your hand, you'll just stand up with it. And then as you're, also if you have a 2-hand item, it would be fine to just kind of like have it in front of you. So you're in your up down, you hop up and then you can just grab that weight. You could set it back down, set your hands down, plank, grab it, stand up. So, but otherwise you just alternate arms, up, down, stand with your weight, switch when you're standing, not when you're in some weird hinge. It's also cool to step back into your plank and step up to your weight. Make sure that your heels are on the ground when you stand up. Really ground yourself. Whether you're hopping, get those heels grounded before you stand. 8 of those, or like 4 per side with your weight in your hands, but 8 total. And then 4 per side or 8 total. You're gonna be in a kneeling position, so both knees on the ground. We're gonna do a press with your weight. And if you need a little help, you'll drop your butt onto your heels and then squeezing your glutes, pushing up into your weight to get a little pop to push that weight up. Same thing if it's in 2 hands, starts on your chest, hips through, and you can pop that weight up over your chest by squeezing your glutes and then extending overhead. And as you extend overhead, try to keep your biceps in line with your ears, your shoulder blades tucked down and back. You really don't want to be like shrugging, but you want to be reaching, arms straight. And so we're gonna have, I think we have 10 minutes. Oh, okay, let's do 8 minutes. That'll be perfect anyway, because all the numbers are 8. So we'll do 8 minutes, 8 per side of those big plank rows, and then 8 up downs, and then 4 per side of the press. And we'll go for 8 minutes. Oh, hi, Stella. You are a real dog. And yeah, so we'll go for 8 minutes, and you'll just do as many rounds as you can in that time, or as many rounds as you want, I should say. Do not kill yourself.
Is there a push-up for Renegade Row?
No, push-up, no push-up. Thank you, good question. No push-ups today. Anything else I forgot to mention? Or questions, or? And again, on the plank row, you can decide if you want to keep yourself square and just pull up to your chest and like work on keeping that tight plank, that's fine. Or like I said, you could like open up your hips and give it this really big row. It really can just depend on how you're feeling today or how heavy your weight is, which version of those you feel like you want to do today. Okay. Want to do it? All right. 3, 2, 1, go. So 8 per side, but alternate each one. And then it's going to be 8 of the up downs, again, alternating each time with your weight. And then kneeling press, 4 per side. And we're at 1 minute, 20 seconds. Just keep going until we get to 8 minutes.
Thanks, Chardy.
Bye. I'm sorry, 2 more minutes. We're at 6 minutes. Sorry, I can't think anymore. Not that I could think in the first place. One more minute. More seconds. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Good job.